Guys, Fushida of Team Bad Yugi's here. This time bringing you not an old format deck profile, but actually something from the current meta. And it's because of the new set that came out, Dark Illusion. And this is a deck I started building on the pre-release, but honestly I've been working on this deck for a long time. And I took it to my locals, and I got first. It was 5-0, 5 rounds at a tournament of 20 people, and so let's get into it. I call this Solitaire Turbo, but really it's just it's a Uni-Zombie zombie spam synchro deck. And now with the release of this card, this deck becomes a lot more potent because it's just more copies of Uni-Zombie, and Uni-Zombie is the combo maker, the playmaker, is everything good that zombies needed for a long time. Zombies on their own haven't really been a playable deck that great since 2009. So this is a long time coming, and I've been very excited for this to come out, and now I can finally unleash it upon the masses. But yeah, 3 Uni-Zombie, 3 Solitaire, and then we have 3 Mizuki, and 2 Zombie Master. And then for last zombie, you have 1 Scapegoat. We'll get to the Scapegoat a little bit later. But yeah, this is your main zombie core. These are all your guys you do for a lot of your spammy synchro combos, for your turn 1 setup plays, and your late game recoveries and finishing moves. Alright, now we have a lot of support to help make the zombies run a bit smoother. Goblin Dirks for extra level 4s. And then we have 1,000 Blades. These are all targets for reinforcement of the army. And you'll see why I play 1,000 Blades really quickly. It's also an Earth, and I played Naturia Beast this weekend, though I'm going to side it in the future, but still, it's an Earth that you can use with Glow Bulb to make Nat Beast first turn, as well as these guys too. So the typing is good, it's nice. And then we have a Brilliant Fusion engine here, with 2 Trick Clowns and 2 Garnets. The reason why I play 2 Trick Clowns and 2 Garnets of like 1 or 1 and 2 or anything like that is because of the draw power that we play, and it's better. We have a lot of discarding monsters with Zombie Master and Uni-Zombie, so like these guys can like unclog your hands, and I have a lot of cards that just kind of unclog and make everything better. So it's okay to play 2 Garnets, and it really keeps you from bricking it and losing games just because you open up Garnet Brilliant Fusion. It really helps minimize that. And yeah, now you can see how we play the 1,000 Blades if we're doing Trick Clown, and yeah, that's just the tiniest Clown Blade engine. It's nice. It works really well. I'm still a little iffy on the 1,000 Blades, but for now it stays in. And then for the last monsters, we have a Math Man and a Glow Up Bulb. And Math Man, he is the extra foolish burial. He gets the Mizuki's into grave. He gets the Zombie Master for a previous Mizuki. He gets a Glow Up Bulb in there. He sets up everything. He's a very strong normal summon, a good turn 1 play. And now we're getting to the spell lineup here, and you can already see it, what I'm talking about. That's because we play Triple Pot of Desires, and I taught the world here how good this card is already, because this card's crazy. You can't play in every deck. No, you can't. There are just some decks where you just cannot play Pot of Desires because you'll lose your lines of combos. Because, you have, let's say in Lightsworns, you could activate a Pot of Desires and you can banish all of your Luminas and your Raidens. It's like, oh, well, looks like that's kind of horrible. So even though you draw 2 cards, you lose a lot of your best plays because you hit them off Pot of Desires. But in decks where your cards are a bit more flexible, where you don't need to have, a bunch of certain one-ofs or a bunch of certain lines for, like, aggression, then this card just becomes better and better. That also, it gives you that sweet draw power. It's so important to have like, good spells in your hands to build up your combos, because otherwise you just have 1 normal summon, and this deck can't always do so well off that. I mean, minus this guy, because Solitaire is 1 card, Frame Lord Omega, but, other than that, it's just not really... It's not really a thing, so we just need Desires just for that advantage, because in the end, it's +1, and I'll tell you right now, over the 5 rounds, I did not regret resolving this once. In fact, it actually won me game 3 in round 4, because I was top decking pretty poorly. I had 1,200 life points. I was up against Kozmos, activated this, and I drew Regeki Instant Fusion, which allowed me to just clear their board of everything bad, the Dark Ladies and stuff. And then I was able to Instant Fusion pull out Norden. I think, let's see, yeah, I made Utopia the Future, and then I banished out Mizuki, brought out Zombie Master. Man, I forget. All I know is I ended up winning that turn with 2 cards left in deck, because resolving that card, oof. I'm definitely increasing the number of cards in this deck, because decking out after resolving 2 Pot of Desires is very real, since we send so much to the graveyard, though. And then we have 3 Dark World Dealings. Okay, this card. I have mixed opinions. First off, it's really, really good in this deck. However, there are certain matchups where you need to side it out. Like, you do not want to give, like, Domain Monarchs, you do not want to give them that draw power. Because you don't want them not only to help unclog their hand by drawing in new cards, you don't want them sending primes to grave or getting, certain combo pieces into the graveyard to help make their first turn even more powerful. So I wouldn't recommend playing Dealings if, like, you don't play this deck. The only reason why it's so good in this deck is because so many of your monsters are live in the graveyard, and there are so many certain combo pieces that you just don't need early game, but are better late game. Just like, Mizukis, Trick Clowns, extra Garnets, extra Brilliant Fusions. This just makes your hand so much better. It does make your opponent's hand better, yes, but it's worth it. Drawing 1, it is, just think of it as Upstart Goblin, and then you get to load your graveyard with a certain combo piece. You're either loading it with a certain combo piece, or you're just getting rid of a card you didn't really want to use anyways. So it's just really strong for that reason in this deck. So really good for zombies, really bad for anything else. And then, of course, the 3 Brilliant Fusion, that's for, bringing out Seraphonite, normal summon Mizuki, normal summon something else, and this makes crazy, crazy combos. I really hope Seraphonite doesn't get banned, but there's a very high chance it might, but I really hope it doesn't. And if Brilliant Fusion, went to 2, I'd be okay with that. But if it went to 1, I don't think I'd play it anymore. So here's the hoping, but we'll see. I have 2 Instant Fusion for Norden. You could bump it to 3 if you want. I don't really recommend it, at least not yet. We'll see in the future. 1 for 1 helps bring out. That's another reason we play Uni-Zombie. Not only can another reason we play Scapegoat. Not only can Scapegoat be brought up by 1 for 1, it can also be brought up by Shiranui Solitaire and Mizuki from the graveyard. So you can make Trish with it. You can it just helps. And then it's also an extra 1 for 1 target with Glow Up Bulb. After this, I'm actually going to put 1 BLS and 1 Veiler, because something I had a hard time was with removal without using the extra deck. Like, let's say I just didn't have a good extra deck play, but my opponent had a large monster, there was nothing I could do except for stall. But, with the Veiler, like, not only is it's an extra level 1 tuner, it also gets a little bit more control during my opponent's turn, as well as another light. And then with 3 lights, I feel like it's totally worth running BLS, and BLS kind of solves all of those sorts of consistency problems. And hey, if you draw it too early, you can just pitch it out with Dealings. So there you go. We have Foolish Burial, sets up for the combos. Soul Charge, amazing mid-game card, so strong. Even first turn, just getting back 1 extra monster, it can make your boards unbreakable and just get you easy wins. Rhoda sets it up. 1 Regeki, I'm sticking with this. I might take it out for a Twin Twisters in the main, but for now it's still Regeki, because, like I said, I have a hard time dealing with pre-established boards sometimes. If they have a lot of negation with their field, like let's say when ABCs come out, then this card will become very, very, very nice for me. And 1 Allure of Darkness. Please get me a holo. Yeah, it really is kind of... There's enough darks in this deck that it really warrants you can run 1 and not, like, hate it or anything, especially with Scapegoat. But I would not run 2, because the only darks right now are Uni-Zombie, Zombie Master, and Scapegoat. So bear that in mind. But hey, if you ever side in DD Crows, which odds are you will be within a month or so, then hey, there's more targets. And then we do play 3 traps in Bottomless, Warning, and Vanities. No strikes. I didn't feel strike was necessary. I felt like strike was better than all 3 of these, because I just like the banishing aspect of Bottomless. It's very good against certain decks. Yeah, sure, it does destroy, and some things just don't fare well with destruction or undestroyable, but it's more important to me than strike. And yeah, the effect negation of strike is very good. If I were to take out a card, I would take out Bottomless for a strike. But Vanities just locks it down. It was very effective. Be honest, it is also maybe able to be taken out for a strike. I don't know, we'll see. But Warning was the best trap of the day for sure, as it usually is. Now we're on to the extra deck. Here we go. I'm going to go with first the Seraphinite and Norden. These are pretty explanatory, like, you know what these do, you know what they're good for. They help build the combos. Nappies was the most underwhelming card. I didn't have it at the time, and I'm like, well, okay, that means I guess I can just, work with the Nappy, see how much I like it. But now I got it after the tournament, and I'm definitely be playing Coral Dragon from now on. There were 2 times I wanted to make Coral Dragon today that, I lost 3 games over the day, and I lost 1 game because I could not make Coral Dragon. It was very unfortunate. I had all the stuff. I had the Seraphinite, I had a Glow Bulb Engrave, but I didn't have the card, so I couldn't make it. Nat Feast, I could have made once, but it wasn't even in a matchup I wanted. From now on, like, if I do stick to keeping it, I'm going to keep it in the side deck, and I'm going to put it in, game 1 against, like, Pendulum decks, stuff like that. That's when Nat Beast is amazing. So we'll do that. Alright, now for the 7s, we have a Moonlight Rose Dragon and a Clearwing. 7s are extremely easy to make. However, you just don't really need to make them too much, and these ones just solve so many problems that they kind of work. This card's amazing against like Blue-Eyes, and it interrupts Felgrand super hard. It's sadly it's horrible against Kozmo. It is pretty atrocious sometimes because if they know how to play around it, then they just go right into their untargetables. But hey, this card doesn't target, so just make this instead, and you're usually gonna have a good time because this card's the freaking nuts against Kozmo. Yeah, it's crazy. Speaking of nuts against Kozmo, we have the Crystal Wing. This is the hardest card to make in the extra deck because I don't play Plague Spreader with Charge Warrior anymore. That used to be my 6 before Coral Dragon came out. But I was able to drop Plague Spreader because I hated that card. And so now I don't make this as much, but it's still relatively easy to make because of all the level 1s. Another good reason for 1-for-1, Glow Up Bulb, the Scape Ghost, what'll end up being the Veiler. So Crystal Wing's an amazing control card. And Omega, everybody hates Omega, and it just causes a lot of problems. It also gets your Mizuki's back engraved. One Shiranui Sage is an Omega, because here, I'll just show you through. You normal summon Sage, tribute it out, bring out Uni-Zombie, effective Uni-Zombie, send a Mizuki to graveyard, and then you'll banish the Mizuki, bringing back the Sage, and then you can synchro right there for an Omega. So that's a 1-card combo. So every single Sage you can just see as an Omega in your hand, which is really powerful. Like, that's just like the most basic combo of the deck. That's kind of what started it all for me. And this card's crazy. But I don't play 2 or 3, I just don't feel it's necessary. Like, making 2 in 1 turn, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Maybe I'll bounce it 2, but I just don't know what to take out for that. The deck space is so tight, it's so strong. Alright, now we have Void Ogre Dragon. This used to, I put this in the deck when I started testing with Ultimate Zolkane, but then I took out Ultimate Zolkane when I realized I can just make this card on its own, and it's absolutely crippling. Having like a turn 1 of like Void Ogre, Omega, and Durandal, like I won, I think 3 games alone with like this board opening. It's crazy. It's so strong. Takes out the best spells, absolutely crazy. Plus, I'll get back to it later, another reason why it's especially good. Anyways, and then we finish off with Trish. Trish, he takes it from disadvantageous state to very advantageous. It's also crazy good against Kozmo. Given the Dark Lady. That's a given. Alright, then we have one Durandal. You make it with Seraphinite and Uni-Zombie, because then Uni-Zombie can pump any monster on the board to a 5, and then you just overlay with that and Seraphinite for Durandal. And then you always have the Brilliant Fusion, so very, very nice. Rank 4s, we have Castell, Giant Hand, and Emerald. I mean, I know, you're looking at Giant Hand, you're like, really? And I'm like, really? This card is really, really good. This card is very good for the Soul Charge plays, good for first turn. You could take out Giant Hand for Rafflesia, and then take out Vanities for like a Treacherous Trap Hole. Like, that's totally fine. Like, I'm considering doing that. I just want to test it out. But I've been going with Giant Hand, and I'll tell you right now, Giant Hand's been really nice. It has been really nice. So I do want you to bear that in mind. That the control with it is very nice. It's also very good Clown Blade. Like detach, it's nice because then you get him back on your opponent's turn. You finish off with Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. This is the deal sealer so many times. First turn I'll make, the big board of all the negators, and then turn 2 I just make this, and I just run over the only problem card they still have on the field, and then I attack in for game. It happens all the time. I've won so, like, the ceiling crunch was usually that card. Alright, and now for the side deck. I didn't really have my side deck completed. I did have 2 Maxis and 2 Veilers, but I'm going to main one of those Veilers because it was just so good over the weekend. Like, you know, side deck isn't really relevant, you know, because it always changes depending on what your local meta is. But these are some things I definitely recommend. Firstly, Eradicator. Because it is so easy to make Void Ogre, you can just set up, you know, make your Void Ogre turn 1. If you want, you can negate something first, and then you can flip Eradicator. Turn 1, I opened this, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to combo, and I'm going to make Void Ogre and win. And they dropped Max C on me right when I started, and I'm like, okay. And I went through. By the end of the turn, so by the start of their next turn, they had 10 cards in hand, and after they activated their first Pendulum Scale, I negated with Void Ogre. And then when they activated their second one, it was fine. They activated the third one. I flipped Eradicator, tributing this guy. And they lost, let's see, they lost 3 more cards in their hand, so they only had 4 cards left. And I eventually won the game off of that. So, this card is so powerful against Pendulum base. Like, it wins against Max Seat Challenge. Like, come on. Like, that's really, really good. Dark Hole is very important for clearing boards of problem cards. And once again, come ABC season, this will be here. Right now it's for Domain Monarchs, and it did definitely put in work against Domain, so I'm really proud of that. Mistakes. The fact that you can play this card should really explain itself. I was playing 3 this weekend, but I only saw it once, and it was pretty good, but you know, I just want to let you know, Mistake is definitely playable because there's not much searching going on. The only cards that search in my main deck right now are Rhoda. Wow, well, would you look at that? It looks like we have 1 search card in the entire deck. So yeah, Mistake. This could be your strategy to victory. Just saying. And then Ghost Reapers. You can always side in Dante's, or it's really cool for outing Castells. Once again, this will be more relevant come ABC season, because then you just side in a Dragon Buster and you just steal victories from right there, because they summon out their gold gadget. They bring out one of the they bring out one of the A's, B's, or C's, make your Gigant detach, search for another one, bam, you drop Ghost Reaper right then, and it's like, well, they now suddenly have a really dead-ass card in their hand, and they just kind of got to work it back from there, because unless they can, you know, go into infinity, they kind of lose out. But yeah, being able to... The synergy with Ghost Reaper in this deck is crazy. I do recommend that you can play 3 simply because you're very able to, because not only is it, you know, good target for dealings, then it becomes a zombie for Mizuki, as well as an Allure of Darkness target. So it's just very synergetic with the deck. So I'm a huge fan of Ghost Reaper in the side deck for this. And then I'm going to put in 1 Nap Beast because, again, for Pendulum's first turn. There we go. Alright, folks. So here's the zombie deck. It performed extremely well this weekend. I do recommend it. It's been very fun. Every single person I played against, enjoyed playing against this deck just because it was so refreshing. I think this next format for the next couple months is going to be a very refreshing format. The year has slowly just been getting better and better, and I'm really looking forward to this. So hey, this is Bushido of Team Bad Yugi's, signing out.